All right, welcome back. So here we have our project. Let's see what it does so far. So I'm going to press the green flag, and one sprite chases the other. When it gets there, I got you, draws a square, asks you if you'd like to play again. If I press yes, or a Y actually, it does play again. Okay, cool. And if I press anything else, it's going to stop the game. Cool. All right, so today, let's see if we can add a score to this. So I'm going to click on Variables tab. I'm going to click Make a Variable. I'm going to call this Score. And you'll notice that it popped up right here, and that is because this check mark. So you can see that if I check that, I can see my score. And this is my score variable. So how would I like my score to work? So let's think about this, and you can totally change the way score works in your game. This is the way I'm going to do it. So I think what I'm going to do is, if the cop catches the robber, I'm going to have, so you as the player are the robber, because that's what follows your mouse. So I'm going to have the robber's score go down by 5. So if the cop catches the robber, score goes down by 5. For every 5 seconds that the robber is free, I'm going to have the score go up by 1. So that's how a score is going to work. It's going to go up by 1 every 5 seconds the robber is free, and it's going to go down by 5 if the cop catches the robber. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to use this change. So here I'm going to change score. So if I click change score, right now it's going to increase it by 1 because it's a positive number. So I'm going to make this a -5, and that will decrease it by 5. So change score by -5. And I'm going to put that, so here I say I got you, I draw a jail. I'm going to put that right before drawing a jail. It doesn't really matter where I put it in here, as long as it happens at the same time as this other stuff. So, okay, cool. So now my score goes down by 5 every time the robber is caught. Great. So now let's see if we can make the score go up every 5 seconds. So in order to do this, I'm going to use the timer. So if you just, right here in the sensing palette, I see there's reset timer and timer. So this is, again, a variable. So if I check this, I can see what it is. Oh, 208. So this timer just starts when the game starts. And at any time, I can reset it. And boom, you saw it went back to 0. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get another when I receive. So let me drag a reset timer out there because I'm going to use that. And I'm going to use a when I receive. So this is something else that I want to have happen when the game restarts. So when the game resets, I want to reset the timer. I am then going to do a loop. So let's give it a forever loop. Again, because that's kind of our default loop. That'll just run forever. And I'm going to, inside this loop, I'm going to check if my timer is over 5 seconds. So I'm getting the greater than. I'm going to put a 5 on this side. And I'm going to put my timer variable on the left side. So here I'm going to check if the timer is over 5. And if the timer is over 5, I'm going to, again, go back to variables. I'm going to change. I'm going to increase my score by 1, right? And then I also want to reset the timer. And I want to reset the timer because if I don't reset the timer, it's going to be greater than 5 for all eternity, right? So what I want to do is check to see if it's over 5 and then reset it. And then it'll go back down to 0, and then I'll check to see if it's greater than 5. Okay, so let's see if this works. Okay, green flag. Boom, I can see my timer up there in the upper left-hand corner, got to 5, and did my score increase by 1? So it's -2, -1, and it's going to become 0, 0. Great, so that seems to work. Only problem is that now that I have been caught, you'll notice that the score is going to continue changing, even though I'm not playing right now, right? The game is totally stalled, but my score is still increasing. So we need to fix that. So one great way to fix that, I think, is to, instead of using the forever, let's use repeat until. Okay? And I'm actually going to do the same thing for movement. So right now I have movement where it will forever go, follow the mouse, go to where the mouse is, and then if it's touching the cop, it's going to stop this script. But that means exactly the same thing as saying repeat until touching cop, go to X and Y, right? So this is just a different way to say exactly what I had before. Before I had a forever and then I had an if that would stop the script. But instead I can say repeat until it's touching the cop and do this until that happens. So I'm going to do that exact same thing for this one. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it right now, I'm thinking, why don't I just put all this code in the same script? I'm just going to have 2 loops that are going to end at the same time. So why not just add my timer script to this script and see if that works? I don't need all this extra stuff. So let's get rid of all this extra stuff. And then we're going to test our code and see if it works correctly. So press the green flag. Okay, let's watch our score. It's -2. Okay, -1. Let's see it go to 0. Okay, cool, went to 0. Let's see what happens when they hit each other. Cool, so timer is still going up, you'll notice. But I'm no longer, this loop, if statement loop, is no longer taking into account. So my score is not changing. So the timer is going to continue going as long as snap is running, basically. So let's see if I press yes. Oops, got caught again. Dang, I'm really bad at this game. Okay, so I'm now at -10, -9. Great. So that seems to be working pretty well, -8. And now it's going to go up to -13. Cool. So that seems to be working. And again, even when we stop the script, our timer still changes, so we can't control that. So I'm going to say that that is pretty good for scorekeeping. So I'm going to end the video here, and I'm going to create another video for the next thing we're going to do.